In this video, I'll be showing you guys every single piece of gear that I use for LEGO photography and gear that I would recommend if you're just starting out. And at the end of this video, I'll show you guys the most underrated and most important piece of gear for LEGO photography. So I've been doing LEGO photography for almost 5 years, and I have a lot of gear that I bring with me on a shoot, but there was a time when I was a complete beginner, and LEGO photography isn't a very popular hobby or type of photography, so it was hard to find a lot of information about the best gear for it. I did learn some stuff through YouTube and Google and trial and error and stuff like that, but a lot of it I had to try and figure out myself. So hopefully this video can help you out, whether you're a complete beginner and you've never picked up a camera before, or if you do have some experience and you're just looking to take your LEGO photography to the next level. When you're a beginner, I cannot say this enough. You do not need a ton of fancy equipment or a ton of LEGO in order to do LEGO photography. I truly mean it when I say I would highly recommend just using your phone and a single minifigure when you're first starting out. It's not worth spending a ton of money on an expensive camera, especially when you don't know how to use it. When I first started out almost 5 years ago, I thought that you needed all the fancy equipment, so I borrowed my sister's Canon camera, and my first photos were garbage because I didn't know how to use it. Once I switched to using my phone, my photos became so much better so quickly because phones are just so much easier to use. These are some of the best photos that I took with just my old iPhone 12. So if my old iPhone can take photos like these, imagine what phones these days can do. And when it comes to the LEGO, you don't need a ton of LEGO in order to do LEGO photography either. If you look at all of my photos, they almost always have just 1 or 2 minifigs. Any more than that and your photos can become crowded, cramped, or chaotic. So most of the time, simplicity is better. So if you're a beginner who wants to get into LEGO photography, just use your phone and master the basics. Learn lighting, camera angles, and basic editing. Learn the fundamentals, then upgrade to a better camera when you're ready. Now we'll get into the camera gear I use now. Pretty much all of this gear will still apply even if you just use your phone, so it's worth watching the whole video if you're looking to take your photos to that next level, even without an expensive camera. Speaking of the camera, this is the camera that I use. It's a Canon EOS 250D. I bought it used off of Amazon, so even I don't have the latest, greatest camera. I love this camera. I bought it used and I haven't had any issues with it. One thing I will say though, if you're looking to buy a camera for LEGO photography, is to make sure you get a camera with a flip out screen. Because LEGO is so small, most of the time your camera will just be on the ground or almost on the ground, so it's important to have a flip out camera so you can see what you're shooting. First, let's talk about the gear I use for my setup. First, we have my tripods. I actually have 2 tripods, this small one here and then a bigger one, but I'm using the bigger one to record this video right now. I usually use the small one for my actual LEGO photography, and then the bigger one I usually use for filming my social media content, like TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. But my bigger tripod does work for my camera too if I need it. Up next, we have this small blue kitchen towel here, but any towel would really work. Like I said, because LEGO is so small, most of the time my camera is just sitting on the ground. So I just lay this towel down to keep it clean and protect it from the outdoors like dirt or sand. Up next, we have some gear that isn't exactly necessary, but I use it just for the sake of ease when shooting. First up, we have these knee pads. I watched a YouTube video about gear for toy photography, and the guy mentioned knee pads because you're getting on the ground a lot to shoot. And I remember thinking to myself, that's a dumb item, right? Who would need that? The next day, I went to shoot some LEGO photography and my knees were killing me afterwards, and that night I ordered knee pads. Also, for the sake of ease, I have this little camera remote here. This is the only item that doesn't apply if you use your phone because this obviously has to be plugged into a camera. This remote is really helpful for 2 reasons. One, so I can kind of stand up and relax when taking a photo so I don't have to be crouched on the ground the whole time. And 2, it helps me take photos without physically touching the button on the camera itself. This could jostle or shake the camera, which could lead to unclear or blurry photos, especially with low shutter speeds. So having this remote really helps when shooting. Next, we get into the fun stuff. This is all the gear that I use to achieve different effects in my photos. Fog, smoke, flying effects, lighting, so much more. Up first is this craft wire. This is what I use to suspend my characters off the ground, to make characters look like they're flying, floating, or mid-jump. I just attach my characters to the wire, then use Photoshop to edit it out and achieve this effect. Next is just this atmospheric aerosol spray. This is just used to create smoke or steam in my photos. Next are these little portable RGB lights. These are super useful for lighting effects. They can emit warmer or cooler lighting. You can adjust the intensity, and you can even change the color. For this Harry Potter photo, I shined the green light on Voldemort and the red light on Harry to achieve the lighting effect in this photo. And finally, we have this light reflector here. I don't use this very often, but it's really good for blocking out sunlight if there's too much, or redirecting it if there's too little. When I took this photo, I didn't realize how much sun was actually in it until the first photo looked like this. So I used the light reflector to block it out enough to eventually create this photo. And now for the most important item for LEGO photography, we have sticky tack. It might seem like a very small piece of gear, but I say sticky tack is the most important piece of gear because it has so many uses and it's extremely versatile. I use sticky tack to attach characters to the craft wire, keep characters standing upright, get characters' limbs in unconventional angles, and even stick it inside helmets to get unique head angles. Sticky tack is also reusable, and it sticks right back with the rest when you're done, so you really only have to buy it once. I've been doing LEGO photography for 5 years, and this is the first pack I ever bought, and even I haven't used it all. So, if there's one thing I would recommend you get for LEGO photography, it is sticky tack. It helps take your photos to that next level by allowing you to create more realistic poses, and it's already hard as it is to stand minifigures upright sometimes, so sticky tack is a lifesaver when trying to get minifigs to stand up. So there you have it. That's the full list of every piece of gear that's in my camera bag. I hope this video was helpful, whether you're new to LEGO photography or if you're just trying to take your photos to that next level. If you're interested in purchasing any of this gear yourself, I have links to all of my gear in my Instagram bio, UNM Bricks, so be sure to check that out. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.